Okay, this is Potato Flakes Take 2. A couple weeks ago I made a video of an attempt to make some mashed potatoes out of the potato flakes that I made last year from my potato harvest. And they came out not perfect. They tasted pretty good, but the texture was all wrong. They were way too dense, and the little flakes just didn't seem to really break down enough. So I think I know what I need to try next, and there's two things different from the first video. The first is I'm going to grind these up into something closer to a powder, and I'm going to use this coffee grinder to do so. I don't actually use this grinder for coffee. I use it for usually turning dehydrated things into powders. So it's going to work just fine for this, I think. The other thing I'm going to do is start with about twice as much water. So I'll make a cup of potato, we'll call it granules or powder, and go with 2 cups of water. So I'll go ahead and grind some of this up, and we'll go from there. Wow, there is almost like potato smoke coming out of this thing because it's grounded into such a fine powder. I'm actually breathing in potato dust right now. I don't know if that's going to come out in the camera, but wow. I'm not super fond of breathing in potato particulate, but I guess it's in the name of progress. So that's what we got so far. I'm going to have to keep going for probably a few more little batches in here. That's about half a cup. I'm going to end up using a whole bunch of this just for this experiment, but that's okay. Almost 1 cup. Now obviously when I grind this, I'm condensing it down such that 1 cup is going to be more than it would have been if it was flakes. So that could of course throw off how much water I think I need to use. But there we have about 1 cup, and I'm going to get 2 cups of water boiling, and I think what I'm going to do this time is also melt some butter into the water rather than try to stir the butter in after the potato is added. So let's try that. Okay, we've got 2 cups of boiling water, and I'd say about 2 tablespoons of butter, just getting to the point of boiling. For this I used some of my Red Feather canned butter. I made a video reviewing it a couple weeks ago, and I've still got the rest of it in the fridge, and it's doing just fine in there. So I think this is just about to the point where I can pour the potato sort of flakes in. And I'm hoping that this ratio of potato to water is better this time. It's thickening up really fast. I hope I don't end up having to put more water in yet, but I'm going to turn off the heat now. I'm going to cover this and let it sit for maybe 5 minutes or so, and we're going to see how it looks. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes, so I'm going to see how these look. Well, first impression is still a little too dry. I think that grinding up those flakes threw off my measurements just a little bit, so they smell good, and I don't want to waste these, so I'm going to, I guess, do what I did last time, and that's add a little water in. And we're going to just have to fine tune this a little bit. You know, through the course of trying to figure this out, I'm going through a lot of my potato flakes that I spent a lot of time and effort to procure, but I'm okay with it because 2 reasons. I'm going to eat this. I mean, this will be a side dish for me for the next couple of dinners at least. I'm not going to waste any of it. And 2, I want to figure this out so I can write it down exactly what I did. So if the time comes when I need to rely on things like my dehydrated potato flakes, I know exactly what to do to get the best results. Now this is already coming together pretty good. You can still see it's got a bit more texture to it than real mashed potatoes, and maybe that's just going to happen. You know, you buy potato flakes or that potato powder from the store in the form of instant mashed potatoes, and when you cook it up, it is, you know, pretty smooth. So, like a lot of things, I'm guessing that the industrial manufacturing process of that food product involves maybe some more steps than what I do. More processing, more cooking. Maybe they freeze dry it rather than dehydrate it. That could be the difference right there. Now, these flakes came from cooked mashed potatoes. I basically made mashed potatoes with nothing but water and then dehydrated it. So it is cooked. Now, I prefer a smooth mashed potato, but I don't hate the look of this. It looks better than the last video I made when the texture was way more pronounced. I mean, it was still pretty well in flake form. They were just soft and mushed together. But I'm a lot happier with this. I think if I had started with a little more water yet with this powder, my results would be a little better, but I'm not hating this. I don't want to just keep adding more and more water to this either, but maybe I'll just splash a little more in there and then stir it up and give it a taste. I'm sure if I threw some milk in here that this would be better as well, but I'm going on the premise of what I will have available to me if I actually need to use my food stores, and fresh milk from the grocery store is not going to be one of those things. So, all right, I'm kind of liking this, so I'm going to serve this up and give it a taste. All right, here's what we got. Not exactly fresh mashed potatoes, but I don't hate it. I think I'm okay with it. Like everything, I like to put a little pepper and salt on it. I could have mixed some of this salt in when I was cooking, but I usually like to sort of season to taste after the fact. And yeah, a little more water from the beginning would have been better, I think. Again, the taste is pretty good. Honestly, this isn't that far off from the first batch I made before I tried grinding the flakes. The texture's just a little bit more fine. Something I could try to do is soak the flakes for a while before I actually cook them. Just soak them in some hot water for a couple hours like I would with some of my other dehydrated vegetables. That might soften them up enough to where they'll kind of all meld together a little better. So, I don't know. I might have to make a round 3. Of course, I'm going to have to do that after the next potato harvest because I'm pretty low on potato flakes now. So, I guess I could have did these experiments with a half a cup instead of a whole cup, but what's the fun in that? And like I said, this isn't going to go to waste. I've probably got 3 or 4 servings worth of potatoes here if I put it with some meat or something. It's not bad. After the first experiment, I had the idea because of the texture of it. It was almost like the consistency of the inside of a McDonald's hash brown. And I was thinking, what if I did that and kind of mushed it into a patty and fried it till it was golden brown? That would be some nice crispy doomsday hash browns right there. So I might actually take this last little bit here and try that as an experiment. That sounds interesting, even if it doesn't turn out well. I'm sure it'll be interesting. So I guess that's about it. Take 2 wasn't especially more successful than take 1, but that's okay. I don't have any problems with that. So, yeah. I guess that's it for now. I'm going to wrap the rest of these potatoes up and have some for dinner. So until next time, this is Great Lakes Prepping.